Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from the Strategium in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 100, take 2. It's October 22nd, and I'm your host, Elric. I don't feel 100, Edge. With me today is
Lord Bill Costello. Put me in, coach.
Yeah.
I'm ready to play. All right. Anyway, hi.
You know what that reminds me of?
A
You
song.
won't remember this, but some of our dear listeners might.
What's that?
That little "put me in, coach." If you'll take a trip with me down memory lane,
Woo woo.
back in probably the very early 90s, there at Pizza Hut, they came out with a VHS of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was like a double cartoon and one VHS.
Wow.
And it had commercials on it, and one of which was like a Pizza Hut commercial where these kids were playing baseball and that song was playing.
Okay. Wow, that was a stretch.
Yeah.
And
You just triggered like a 25-year-old memory in my head.
that's so cool. So this is a show about reminiscing anyway.
That's true.
So
There you go.
kick right into your childhood. At
Yeah.
that time, how did you feel about your mom?
So let me tell you, this.
Oh, wow. 100 episodes. Oh, my God. And this is take 2.
Yeah, we recorded an entire episode 100 already, but it was a little too hot. We brought a little too much heat,
Yeah.
and we're not sure you guys are ready for that.
The internet is a fragile place.
Yeah.
And we don't think the ecosystem could have handled that one.
No.
So we're going to dial it back a little bit
Yeah.
and bring it again. So,
Take 2.
yeah. Oh, you got to love it. First things first, we got to throw out some thank yous.
Okay.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I have nobody to thank.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding. Go first.
Okay, so whoever you are out there in listener land who decided to go through the trouble of sending me an anonymous package with the collector's edition of the Vulcan Primarch book, wow. Holy crap. Thank you. That
Yeah.
was, getting that out of the blue was like, oh my God.
Christmas in October.
Yeah, pretty much, because I've been watching for that book to come up on eBay for something less than, $200.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's out of print, but it's out of stock. So the collector's edition certainly is
Oh, I'm sure
out.
it's out of print. That stuff
Yeah,
goes instantly.
It's true. So just to have it is so freaking cool. So I don't know who you are. You went through the trouble to take it to the post office to have it shipped anonymously.
Yeah.
So you obviously thought about this. So thank you. I appreciate it. I really do.
So now you have the very fancy Primarch book
Mm-hmm.
for all 3 of the Primarchs that you waffle between, depending on release. That's nice.
When you minimize me like that, it really hurts.
Just calling it like I see it, Bill.
I know.
Calling it like I see it.
Yes, I do have all the cool ones.
Yeah.
So, and I did pick up Angron for no other reason than it was there. So,
Because Angron,
yeah, and
He's
Angron
sweet.
is, yeah.
he's smashy.
And what's funny about the Vulcan book is I've listened to it. I've listened to the audiobook version of it.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people are really divided about that story. It's the story of how,
About Vulcan?
well, yeah, it's about the Primarch Vulcan. It's really strange.
Well, he's a pretty divisive guy.
Yeah, and it was weird about how he was he wasn't letting, but him and the Emperor were kind of letting the Earthborn, the Terran-born salamanders kind of die on this world so that the Nocturne guys could be more prominent. I don't know. It was really quite weird. It's a strange story. I thought it was very good myself. I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Oh, wow.
It's not the world's best writing, but it was entertaining, and it was an interesting peek into the mind of the Emperor and Vulcan. as to how things were going to go in the Great Crusade. So, fun, fun, fun. Now, what do you want to talk about? Oh, hang on. I'm not recording. Kidding. Okay, we're going to hold off the other thanks to the next show because we have to make sure that we credit the right person, and that would be really lame to do it incorrectly. One thing I do want to shout out to, though, is I got an email from Sean Begley. He's the guy that runs the Tabletop Campaign repository. I've used this site for quite a while, and he actually reached out to me and asked me to, asked us to talk about it a little bit, and I realized, this is really dumb. I should have been hawking this from the first time I got on there because I've used it quite a bit. It's called the Tabletop Campaign Repository. It's out there at tcrepo.com or tcrepo.com. And what it is it's a repository for all kinds of narrative content, and you name it. It's 100% free. You don't have to sign up or anything. It's just a community resource, sort of a repository for...
Like a wiki?
Yeah,
thing?
well,
Okay.
kind of. But just it's where all the good narrative stuff can be...
I don't know if that's how the format is. I'm just saying.
No, it's not. It's not laid out like a wiki. It's a regular
okay.
Word. I think it's a WordPress site.
Okay.
But he's got all kinds of different campaigns written by people, and he's collated all the stuff. And in some cases, people have just submitted their whole pack to him and all this stuff. Everything is there, and it's a great place. Like if you're looking to put together a campaign, or you want to look at something like Crusade data sheets and all that stuff, they're out there. Everything's free to download, and hopefully we're going to have Sean on the show next time.
Sweet.
But yeah, it's a really cool idea to have one central, one-stop shop.
This seems very kind of like the narrative version of what Warhammer Dan was doing for the competitive stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, something like that.
Cool.
So this goes across all the games, AOS, I was going to say AOS, Sigmar, 40K. Yeah, okay.
AOS, Sigmar, Warcry, Underworlds,
Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Yeah, everything. So go ahead and jump. Wow, did you hear my voice go high like I hit puberty or something?
Yeah.
Whew, 56 years old. Finally have them dropping.
Finally.
All right. tcrepo.com, tcrepo.com. Go out there and take a look. Like I said, we'll try to have them on the next show or maybe next time, depending on when we can make our schedules mesh. And it is our 100th show. So, we're going to do our normal New Dawn, and there's a lot of it because we already recorded one New Dawn when there was a lot of stuff. Now there's been a preview show and even more stuff. So, yeah. Hold on to your butts. Then we're going to talk about creation because we've created some stuff. And then we're going to talk about battle because we've battled a couple of times, several times. And then we're going to go into lore. We're going to do something a little different in lore. We're going to reminisce a little bit, and we're going to go back to the beginning of the show and talk about the folks and the stuff that we've done and blah, blah, blah. But we're also going to do a temporal distort, but we're not going to go 10 years or 20 years back. We're going to go back to the month that the show came out, which is June of 2016.
Yeah.
The depressing part of which is it was still White Dwarf Weekly. I know. I understand kind of why they would want a weekly magazine, but that was during the time when they didn't understand how the internet could work for them, how they could make it work.
Yeah, that's right. They were
And-
still very anti-technology.
Yeah, and it was, a weekly catalog with some pretty pictures. And then at the same time, they had Warhammer Visions.
That was the worst.
Oh, my. Well, it was great if you like just to look at, porn. Miniatures porn, plastic porn.
Yeah.
But that was the extent of it. It was...
Because you could get all that just looking at social media sites and stuff. Like,
And they hadn't grokked that yet. They
Yeah.
hadn't quite settled on that idea of there's already sites doing this better than what we're doing and charging nothing.
I'm paying for a physical copy of Pinterest.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
basically all. It has there's like 30 words in the whole book.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was such
It was a silly thing. Luckily, they came to their senses and sort of put White Dwarf back on the right track, like the month or September of 2016.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, it could have worked. It really could have worked if they kind of had more of the mindset of what they have now.
Yeah.
In that, like, the games are living games and
Yes.
the rules are living rules and stuff. And by dropping something weekly, they could have, like, if they were doing it now, that's how we could get quicker potential updates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've embraced the internet, so now they just do, you know, like on the community website.
Yeah.
And now there's the apps, which
Mostly
I'll
work.
simply acknowledge that they exist.
Good.
Yeah. And also there's like the 40K Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the internet,
They
and
have
they're
so
finally
many
embracing
avenues
it. So
now.
you don't
Yeah.
really need a weekly physical copy of a magazine that's going to be outdated. You know, if it was getting rules like that, rules
Right.
updates, it could potentially be outdated fairly quickly. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
The way they've gone with the new White Dwarfs with content for everything is so refreshing, so much
Yeah.
nicer. It makes it to where you're not leery about buying every issue. So, yeah, they have pulled their corporate heads out, and you know, for the last 5 years or 4 years, it's been awesome. So anyway, let's just strike off, you know, into that whole New Dawn thing that we sometimes do. What do you think? Should we do that or I don't know.
No, you know what? Let's just totally flip it around. Let's go straight into battle. And
Your
then-
mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberry.
That's what I think of that.
Oh, fair enough. New Dawn.
We covered in the last show that you didn't hear. The McFarlane dollies, action figures are here.
Yep.
Yeah, so now you can play dress up with your Ultramarine or your unpainted Marine or your Necron guy. So
Indeed.
I made a coat for my Necron guy. Okay, I didn't. That look on your face is really damning.
You know what you should do, Bill? This is what I need you to do. Stay with me.
I'm with you.
I need you to go out and buy a couple of Barbies. Okay, Ken dolls, whatever. Slice off their flesh
And make a
and
face.
drape it over your Necron so that he's a flayed one. Just go full narrative, buddy. Just embrace the whole thing.
I'm telling you, I could do this.
And then just leave. Oh, if only Ken dolls had skeletons underneath.
Yeah.
Then you could have their
Yeah, they're
burned out skeletons laying around him while he's
Baru.
yeah.
Uncle Owen.
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
Oh,
She's got a thermal detonator. Deep cut for anybody who can see that.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that would be pretty sweet.
That would be cool. I might have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. More on the Lady Gaga meat draped Necron later.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking I could actually just do it with bacon.
Yeah, but that's not human flesh.
Well, it's an analog. I mean, once you paint it up, it'll be fine. No, you don't paint bacon. Who am I kidding? All right. Anyway. How do we do that? This is A, why we don't do a live show,
Yeah.
and B, why we have 6 listeners, including my deceased parents.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
All three of them.
All right. Anyway, so since we've talked last, the 40K stuff that come out was what has gone up for order and come out. The Necron Ophidian Destroyers. Oh my God. Cannot wait. The Convergence of Dominion. Again. Cannot wait. And newsflash to 40K players who are into Necrons. I don't care if you take the Nihilak Dynasty. The Convergence cannot have objective secured. Fortifications can never have objective secured. You're not going to deep strike them to take objectives.
Not with that attitude. Jeez.
You know what? GW will come out with a fact tomorrow that goes,
yeah.
Convergence can be objective secured.
Check your negativity, Bill.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those funny things where it's cropping up in so many of the different Necron groups that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to buy those. And, because they give you the Leadership 12. So they're actually not bad. They give you the Leadership 12 and they extend your command protocols. So they're actually a worthwhile thing to take.
Good.
But everybody has this plan of putting them out there with objective secured. And it's like, I get a free objective. What? No, stop. Okay, anyway, my God.
All right.
Get over yourself, William. Okay, the monolith is coming out. I'm sorry, Lord William.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. The monolith is coming out. Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Yeah, that one is kind of
It's like a kiss from your sister. I mean, yeah, it counts.
It depends on who your sister is. But
Well,
let's cut through the BS.
Put it this way.
If your sister's Sofia Vergara,
Yeah, she's not.
Right.
Yeah, I take that one. Yeah.
yeah, what? No tongue for Christmas?
Okay, stop. Stop. All right.
So yeah, this one's kind of getting dumped on because the data slate is not great, but I think it's fixable. You know, I think some weird stuff has happened with 9th edition in that, because I know one of the big complaints about the monolith now is that it doesn't fly.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the fly rule, which is okay, fine. You know, it hovers like 3 feet above the ground. It's not zipping around like a thunderbolt. However, that means that it is affected by terrain, and it's kind of silly that this gargantuan floating building would be slowed down by a crater,
1-inch wall or a
barbed
1.5
wire
inch
fence.
wall.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I think maybe the FAQ address that or
I think
something.
the biggest thing you have to address with the monolith, and I understand why they made it a Lord of War. The problem is that there are so many centerpiece models for the Necrons now.
Yeah,
You have the Silent King as a Lord of War. You have the
Void
Shard of the Void Dragon, which is, so you're looking at each one of these is like a 2 or 3 command point tax. Plus, in order to get the most out of them, you're going to be throwing command points at them. So they're I mean, you can build great lists around a monolith.
Yeah.
And the problem is you can make way better lists built around the Silent King, and way better lists around the Nightbringer or the Satan Shard of the Void Dragon. I think the monolith is going to get pushed back into that. Yeah, nobody's going to take it because it's just not efficient. It will do amazing amount of work. You give it the death rays and it's going to be a killing machine.
Yeah.
The problem is it's going to be so easily avoided by any army that has any mobility whatsoever. So,
well, I like how the guys over at Tabletop Tactics did a good, bad, and the ugly review on the new Necron book. And they were a little harsh on the monolith. However, they did talk about how if you want to embrace the monolith, what you could do is like back in the old 3rd edition Necrons, where you'd run like 3 monoliths and just an ocean of warriors.
Yeah.
And so you'd have like this kind of nostalgic army.
Yeah.
But it's all these sweet new models. And that new monolith is flipping amazing.
I mean, I'm not going to use it, but I bought one.
Of course you
Yeah.
did. Of course you did.
I mean, you have to. It's
You need
just
2
so
more and
beautiful.
100 warriors.
I have 3
And a
monoliths.
Necron Lord.
Yeah. Oh,
No, you need 3 of the new ones, Bill.
Oh, come
3 of the new
on.
ones.
Where's that street cred for being an old Necron?
Nobody
guy?
cares about that nonsense. All
Fine.
You get your 2nd edition single pose, single cast,
Metal?
Eldar. Metal.
destroyers.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff. Get it out of here.
Oh.
I only want new.
Okay, fine. Reese, if you're listening, send me 2 more monoliths. Jesus Christ. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, the model is, well, I mean, everything for these new Necrons are
It's
just
just
unbelievable.
gorgeous.
good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then, the Shard of the Void Dragon, which that's bananas. Kind of outshines the Nightbringer and the Deceiver a little bit, doesn't he?
Oh, I don't know. Although, both of them are actually getting some love now on the different Necron channels because in their own way, depending on how you want to play, they each bring something pretty crazy good to the table.
Yeah.
I mean, they are by no means, they're good units. So
Yeah, a lot of this new Necron book reminds me of like back in 3rd edition, where like the Nightbringer and stuff was terrifying back then. And he's right back to being
he's back to that.
He's a shard of a god, physical shard of a god walking around the battlefield. So.
And what's good about Necrons now is they have that flexibility that they didn't have at the end of 7th and all through 8th. They have a bunch of different lists, and you can tailor it. You can go melee Necrons. You can go ranged Necrons. You can go highly mobile Necrons. You can go monolith, and I'm just going to bombard the table with teleporting Necron warriors. You can have all kinds of different play styles. So, yay, I like it. For the Marines, the Hammerfall Bunker.
Yeah, I think this thing's pretty cool. I love the rules for it. It just shoots at everything within X amount of inches.
I think the rules for this are stupid.
What?
They are. It's this hammerfall bunker that falls from the sky
Like
and
a
lands
hammer.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, and you can't. It doesn't move.
Right.
I mean, like a bunker. What the hell? They couldn't put legs on it.
Oh my God, Bill.
Okay. Anyway, wow. Yeah. Once you place this thing, again, it's going to dominate a section of the table. It is going to wall off a portion of the game.
Yeah.
However, yeah, it's also going to be a bullet magnet. So,
Oh, for sure. But I love it. I think it looks cool. And
very
then
cool.
something that I know people have been waiting for quite some time, a Primaris Tech Marine.
who is absolutely junk. Oh my God, he's so good. Oh man, is that one good?
Oh, Bill.
I can understand now why, people that are playing something that isn't Necrons and Space Marines, they're getting a little salty about the rules that are coming out with the newer models are so much better than everywhere else. I really can't wait to see some other books come out to start getting some of these other races brought up to the 9th level of play. Because,
I'm sorry.
man,
Maybe be more loyal to the Emperor, and you get your goodies.
I'm just thinking, either understand that the Emperor is real and he's here for us,
Yep.
or understand that he's just a rotting corpse on a screwed up throne, and 65 million years from now, he won't even be a memory, and we'll still be kicking around Necron energy. Yeah. Freaking meatbags.
With your 4 core units.
We don't have to walk around begging for buffs. We're pretty good all by ourselves.
This guy. Yeah, no, I'm definitely waiting for, God, there's so many. I think we were talking about this in the chat the other day about how some of these armies, they're really dated.
Yeah.
Like crazy dated, Eldar.
Eldar has got to get a
Yeah.
revamp.
I know everybody harkens back to Chaos Space Marines because CSM players are like professional whiners.
If they don't get a book every 3 weeks, they're like,
Yeah. But yeah, there's some of these other armies like Eldar. Even Tyranids came up in our chat, and it's like, when was the last time Tyranids really got a good update wave? It's been a minute.
I have to think that they're going to be up pretty soon, because a lot of the rules as written for 9th are very painful to the Necrons, just because of the way swarms work. And
Tyranids.
did I say Necrons?
You said Necrons.
What I
Necron
meant.
swarms.
Yeah, Necron swarms.
Swarms of heavy destroyers. Oh, God.
Oh my God, make it stop. Oh yeah. Well, blast weapons though, they're very vulnerable to blast weapons. Yeah, I think Tyranids got hurt kind of just in the basic how things work in this game, because the coherency stuff, they definitely do run in packs and swarms. So they're going to get affected by blast, but they don't have any of the things that make them good in this edition, which they will get.
Yeah.
But
I've only seen one battle report with Tyranids in the new edition, and it was insanely one-sided.
yeah,
Like, it was not even by turn 2, the guys doing the battle report were like, yeah, we're kind of sorry about this. Wasn't really.
this might have been
the
a bad
game.
call.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a small sample size, and they could potentially be pretty solid. I don't know, but
Well, they will get there. I mean, you can see where the basics are laid out for them to be very, very good coming up very, very soon. But they still need to get some of that stuff, like, the Synapse stuff. It will get better. Don't worry, Tyranid players. Now, Tau people, I have shelved the Tau army in a big way for now.
oh, buddy,
Until they get some redress.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those deals where it's not like it's broken or anything. It's just, they have to get their updates. They have to get, the things that's going to make them. And I swear to God, if I hear more Tau people whining about not being BS3, I'm like, oh God.
Oh, yeah, they've never been.
Well, if
So
you
you
made
don't-
them that good at shooting, and then they're that good at shooting with all of their stratagems and everything else, yeah, no. Anyway, that's not happening. But let's not dwell on that.
Okay.
Let's move on to the Aeronautica Imperialis Mega Bomber.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine should be here tomorrow.
I can't wait to see this thing.
Yeah, it'll be like next week. But, it's going to be. I have seen some of the models, on the community site and then some on the tweeters.
Yeah.
And, oh, my God. It makes me want to play Orcs. It really does.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God. It's so crazy. Crazy. So Blitz Bowl Season 2 is here, along with the rest of the Barnes & Noble only games. Now, the only one that I just ran out to pick up was Blitz Bowl Season 2, because you have to.
Yeah, you really enjoyed this.
Oh, I love this game. And Pam likes it too, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But it's a human team and a dwarf team. So I might actually get you to play it since there's dwarves. So, but if you enjoyed Blitz Bowl, or if you just want to play something like Blood Bowl, but way better, don't say better, a lot more condensed without all the crazy rules and interactions and a definite time limit. You're not going to be there all day. It has a very definite time limit. So yeah, it's a great game. Great game. So then they did a preview show last Saturday. Did you watch it?
No.
Okay, I did.
I don't think I'm ever awake for these things.
Yeah. Well, what it was is it's a specialist game preview, so it really didn't hit a lot of, the core AOS/40K crowd. So what they announced was a brand new version of Blood Bowl, not Blitz Bowl, but Blood Bowl.
Right.
Which looks really, really cool. For Warhammer Underworlds, Dire Chasm is the new season. The box is coming out with Slaanesh and Lumineth Realm Lords in it, and the models are just crazy over the top cool. Warcry is going to get faction books. So there's going to be Order, Death, Destruction. What's that other one? Oh, yeah, Chaos. Each one's going to get its own book, and it's going to sort of level the playing field for all the war bands. So those that previously only had like one or two paths will now have all the standard numbers of things and hopefully contain all the errata and what have you. Stop. Just because you don't like the game, just because you can't understand it. What else? And then the very end of the preview show was a sneak peek kill team with a Necron going in and tearing up a whole bunch of Space Marines. So, and yet it doesn't look like just a Necron team or something. I get the feeling that they're looking for like a kill team reboot, a kill team
second edition.
Yeah, maybe something that big. So I don't know. That's the feels I got from the preview show.
Okay.
Up for pre-order. We already. Oh no, we did not.
They also put together a really sweet video that was basically a mini trailer for all the different animated shows they're putting out.
God.
So it's like a minute and a half or 2 minutes long, and it's just like constant snippets from all the different. There's like 6 projects or something coming out.
It's nuts.
Yeah, and they're all wildly different animation styles too. There's like CG, there's traditional anime, there's like that black and white, like almost Battlefleet Gothic looking space battle one. It just looks.
Oh man,
I'm super hyped.
They've gone from like 0 to 100 mile an hour on this animation and movie creation thing.
Yeah,
like in the span of a year, they have taken that to new heights.
Yeah, we've come a long way from Ultramarine.
Yeah, just a little bit, which I don't think was bad, but anyway.
Oh God, stop it.
Sometimes you just like watching a whole bunch of Marines walk around a desert. Okay, anyway. So pre-ordering already this week, so it's already pre-ordered, is Catacombs for Warcry, it'll pre-order Saturday. Catacombs for Warcry.
Oh
my God.
I really, I thought Scions of Flame War is already a thing. Like I guess for some reason I thought it was already out.
I think because they did it in the last preview show, they said when the new edition comes out, these will be the headliners.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a double preview.
Well, and didn't we get a preview of one of these Daughters of Cain models like quite some time
Yeah.
ago?
Oh, yeah.
Like almost Adepticon.
Yeah, a long time
Yeah,
ago.
I was gonna
And then it
say.
came out for Warcraft or for Underworlds first. The models came out for Underworlds. The Daughters of Cain team came out.
Yeah, these warbands. That's Silence of Flame.
Oh, they are so
So
good looking.
Yeah.
And then warband boxes for the Skaven, Caradhran Overlords, Iron Jaws, and Flesh Eater Courts.
Yep.
Wow. So very, very cool. Now, what's really killing me is recently they've come out with a new character for Caradhran Overlords, the Engine Master with a balloon.
Yeah.
Now they're doing a KO warband, which is different models. I wonder if KO's getting a...
I don't think they're different models. It's just individual.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think
Or are they
any of
different
these
poses?
are unique poses.
Oh, okay. I
on
thought they were.
previous boxes. No, I don't think that's how it works.
Okay.
I think they just take the sprues and look at how they can cut them
Yeah.
or something. I don't
Put them
know.
together. Yeah, maybe. Now, if you're into Necromunda, this is a great weekend for you because...
Every weekend's a great weekend for Necro. Those models, everything about that game
so
looks
good.
so unbelievably good.
So if you're Orlocks, this is your week. All kinds of additions, as well as the book and the cards and and additions. And oh boy, Orlocks are going to be happy. And then did you see the terrain set?
I want to say yes, but for some reason, mentally, all I can picture is the catacombs,
Yeah, no,
underworld stuff. So
the Necromunda terrain set it just looks amazing. I wonder what the price tag is going to be because that's a box full of plastic.
I think
That's
I'm a little
amazing.
out of step because I'm realizing now, well, just looking behind you, you have Vertigus.
Yeah, that's the 40K set.
Yeah, I guess there's a bunch of terrain that's come out for 40K that I didn't realize.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. There's like a blank spot in my memory, and now all of a sudden there's tons of terrain, like tons of terrain.
I'm gonna need you to start focusing in on what we do here.
Are you making eggs while we're recording?
Yes,
good.
because we were gonna have pork ribs and eggs.
Oh.
So yeah, don't worry about it. You're
Yeah,
good.
I don't know. For some reason, it just seems like we're getting tons of really great terrain now, which is fantastic.
You know, I want to say, just to make you feel better, when I went to the store and saw the separated, I bought the Vertigus set, which has all the terrain in it.
Right.
But then I went to the store and I saw that they have like a box with just the subcloister and Fane. And then they have a box with just this part of it and a box with just that part of it. I did not realize they had broken that down into separate little boxes. So yeah, that caught me out. I was not.
Oh, cool. All right.
I was not ready for that one. But yeah, it's we're in a terrain a palooza or something. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
And then the next one you want to talk about.
Adeptus Titanicus, the Crucible of Retribution book, is coming out. So that one is, it's Adeptus Titanicus. It's pretty awesome. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I know. Every time we talk about this game.
And I have to just make sure I actually went and put the whole thing in the shed. So it's not just sitting in the corner over there talking to me.
Yeah, I've noticed there's some gaps in the room.
Yeah.
So
I've had to, because if I want to get these salamanders done, if I want to get the OCR Bone Reapers done, I've got to just stop with the side project.
Yeah. I've been the same. I'll talk about it a little in creation and stuff, but yeah, it's kind of hard to stay focused sometimes, especially not just when you have like another army or whatever, like an AP, but like a whole nother game.
Yeah.
That you're so interested in playing.
And it's a whole different rule set and system and all. It's, Warcry and Warhammer Underworlds, great games, fantastic games, but I'm kind of beginning to come around to your way of thinking. It's a time sink that we could be using for AOS games and 40K games. So, Yep. Anyway, that's Adeptus Titanicus. They're also coming out with the open war cards. So if the hundreds of scenarios that are out there aren't enough, you can roll your own.
Sweet.
Very nice. And something that intrigued me is Black Library is doing a book on Luther.
Okay.
And the tagline for the book was, did he fall to chaos?
Bum, bum, bum.
Now, if that doesn't just go, wait a minute. Wait, are we retconning? Are we change what?
That's always
Yes,
been the
he
thing.
fell to chaos.
Did he though? That's always been the thing about Dark Angels. Which ones are the loyalists and which ones fell to
But no,
chaos?
they just fanned that fire into a bonfire that Tom Hanks would be proud of. It's like, oh my God, what if Luther really thinks Lionel Johnson is the bad guy? And now they bring out the next Primarch. Oh, by the way, it's Lionel Johnson, and he has a built-in foil. Gulliman's got Abaddon. Now, Lionel Johnson can come back to save the Imperium while Luther's stabbing him in the back because he's a traitor. Oh, God. And you don't know who the traitor is. It's like, Which one do you shoot?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, Cypher.
Yeah.
Right? Cypher had rules in the Dark Angels book and rules in the Chaos Space
That's
Marine
right.
book.
And he's
So
got
it's
that
like-
sword strapped to his back.
Yeah.
And all he wants to do is meet the Emperor.
All he wants to do. And
'Cause
Bobby G wouldn't let him do it.
and the whole thing is
You know why Bobby G didn't want to let him do it? Because Bobby G wants to rule the galaxy. He doesn't want to let his father do it.
I just want to go, for as virtuous and as poster child as the Ultramarines are, I'll bet you there's somebody at GW that's like, let's actually make them into these, sort of narcissistic little, we like the Imperium fractured because it lets us build our little Imperium.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know, but oh my gosh.
That's the beauty of 40K, man, is you
I know.
can spiral it in so many.
And this thing is, they could write this book
Directions.
and actually ask 10,000 more questions than the one they answered.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it just throws everything into, what if he just shows up one day and he looks at Azrael and goes, excuse me, but I know you've been doing a fine job all these years. However, this hunting the fallen thing, yeah, we're the good guys.
Yeah.
When in reality, all the stories that we've ever heard are the fallen that went to chaos. There's a bunch of fallen that did not go to chaos, that have been fighting for the Imperium as either Black Shields or as Dark Angels.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, and then
man.
the way the whole Dark Angels structure is set up.
The
where,
secrecy, the
yeah,
circles.
you learn a little bit more about the secrets.
Yep.
And the only person that knows all of it is the chapter
Yeah,
master.
Azrael. So,
And of course, he doesn't let anybody else know.
no, of course not.
Because I'd imagine,
What does it mean?
yeah, when you get to
What
the
does it
top and
mean?
you realize, oh,
Oh,
wait a
golly.
second.
Gosh, should I
I
go?
can't let this out because everything comes collapsing down. Yeah, I don't know. Dark
wonder if I
Angels are
should-
so fun with that stuff.
I should call Eisenhorn. He'd know what to do. Because he's a man of black and white. Yeah, okay. Anyway. God, I do love that world. So, and last but not least,
Yep. How do we want to address this one, Bill?
I'm just going to say it's out there and it's coming in November. And I'm going to do my best not to giggle because the new improved Citadel painting handle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Now with a smoother,
Contoured grip.
contoured grip.
Let's just leave it right there.
Yep.
If anyone wants to look at the memes, they can. Yes, the aesthetic is
Yeah, I can't wait to really clench my hand around the handle.
I really want to get a grip on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like you could just squeeze firmly.
Let's just stop New Dawn because we've been at it for
There's
40
no
minutes.
way that it could slip out of your hand.
We're going to creation after this message from our sponsor.
Ask warrior, build me a throne worthy of Mordor.
You know what you could use
No.
when, now we're talking about creation?
Yeah.
That sweet new paint handle. I think it would really allow you to be pretty anal about how you want to paint your models.
Wow. Sat around and thought about that during the break,
That
didn't
just
you?
really popped into my head right now.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, let's talk about creation. Who wants to go first? I'm going to make believe that didn't happen. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. So I finally got off my sorry ass and set up my hobby area.
Yes.
A makeshift hobby area in my new place.
Yep.
Got dusted, or I set up so that my lamps could plug in. Some of my
Nice.
lamps, not all of them, but it was enough to give me some suitable light. Finally boiled my parchment paper, for the wet palette.
Oh.
I just went through everything, got it all set up, and actually finally started painting again.
Nice.
So I'm back to painting my Black Templars.
Huzzah.
Yeah, trying to finish. I saw you. Well, obviously,
Yeah.
you'll talk about it. But you got some stuff done, and I was like, I'll be damned if Sweet Billiam is going to outperform my next to nothing in the hobby. So I'm trying to finish my squad of assault intercessors, but I also grabbed one of the new Outriders bikes and started painting that. And I tell you what, man, that's a kind of a deceptive model, because when you look at the painted ones they have so far, like in the book and online and stuff, if they do like Ultramarines or they do Iron Hands or something like that, pretty much the whole thing is the color, the solid.
Yeah.
So like the Ultramarines,
They look very solid, yeah.
yeah, the whole bike is blue as well as the Marine on top, and there's like a couple of details picked out, and they'll have like the Ultramarine symbol on the side,
Yeah.
little bits like that. So I was like, well, I think I'm going to go in a slightly different direction, and I want my bikes to pop a little more.
Ooh.
So I started trying to like highlight, not literally like edge highlight, but just kind of like visually pick out different things.
Mm-hmm.
And that model has a lot of detail,
At least it does.
a lot of really cool stuff on it. And I think there's a very fine line I was finding where it can go from looking really good
Yeah.
to looking like a horrible cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I'm hoping that I stopped right there.
Good.
We'll see.
Yep.
Because one of the colors, because mine's obviously all black and white
Sure.
for Templars, and on a Templar model, obviously it's black and white, but there's a couple little highlight colors that you can add, like if you want to go with the more traditional red,
Yeah.
like red bolter and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that's what I did with these guys. Is the casings on the bolters are red,
Nice.
and then the casing on his chainsword in his hand.
Sure.
Obviously, the Marine being separate. The Marine is painted like a standard Marine.
Yeah.
But the bike itself, I painted those red, and then the rest of it is black, white, and silver. And I was trying to look like, well, what else do I want to be red? And I realized kind of at that point, I was like, oh, that's it.
You could go too far.
Yeah, because if I add red anywhere else, this thing is going to look cartoonish.
Yeah, it's going to look like a Blood Angel's got.
Well, it'll just look, it'll be too noisy.
Yeah.
I hear
you.
and I think that's very easy to do. So I just let the black and white speak for the character, and then let the metallic be
The main highlight, yeah.
is kind of like to distinguish it for what it is. Does that make? I'm hoping the painters out there understand what I'm trying to say, because it sounds like nonsense. But yeah, there is a very fine line with that model. I think, well, honestly, there's a fine line like that with any model.
Yeah,
really.
there
Like
really
if you look
is.
at a Marine, it'd be very easy to be like, well, I want this pauldron to be this color and this pauldron to be that color, and then his kneecap has to be a different color, and then the legs. I mean, you could look at like a bag of Skittles threw up
Yeah.
on your Marine real
Yep,
quick. So
real
I've
easy.
seen Marines like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to. I got the painting bug again. Finally, I mean,
Nice.
it helps now that I have a set up somewhat. So hopefully that will help the hobby train a choo-choo.
I ordered you something.
Oh God,
Yeah.
Is it one of those sweet new painting handles? Because I'm so lonely.
Because you live alone.
I live alone. I mean, I'll think about you while I'm using it. To paint my models, Bill. Good Lord. Get it together, buddy.
This is why we don't do a live show. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. No, I'll
Is
get
it
to
more decals? Because I lost all of mine.
You will find those.
I will find them. I misplaced
Misplaced.
all of my Black Templar decals. And I about had a stroke last night trying to find.
The ones you ordered from England.
Yeah. From the Mighty Brush.
Yeah.
So if I don't find them, I'll be making another
another
order
order.
to England, which would suck. But
Yeah, but they got to be around. I mean, I think you may have put them in one of the boxes.
I got it. Yeah.
So
I got it.
when you left here, because I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to say it, but I'm pretty sure you put it in one of the boxes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
All right. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
So, to start off with, so I don't keep you in suspense, I have discovered that not only does Army Painter do a new masterclass set of dry brushes, but I like them every bit as much as the Artist Opus dry brushes, if not more.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm really down with those Army Painter nice dry brushes. So I ordered you a set. So,
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
Yep.
Okay.
I was at I was at that point with Mish Toy that I didn't quite make the shipping, the thing to get the cheap shipping.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you know what? I got to go over. Oh, I know what I'll do. There we go.
There you go. Well, I appreciate it.
So, yep, as soon as they get here, I'll hand it. They're really good. They're like the Artist Opus dry brushes. They're very soft. I think they're more like a makeup brush than the Artist Opus brushes.
Okay.
And, I'm not trying to badmouth Byron or anything. They're incredibly good brushes. I think I just like these a little bit better. I'll never use those other ones again.
Sure.
But they're just, I don't know.
Well, cool, because I've been using a makeup brush,
Yeah.
but I find it
One
gets
thing,
beat up quick.
they get beat up. And one thing about makeup brushes is they don't think too much about hard use, obviously, because you're using them on your face.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be really jamming it in there or, doing
Really
a
dry
lot.
brush my cheekbones.
Yeah, an hour-long cheekbone session doesn't usually happen, unless you're RuPaul. But yeah, so they're not really clamped into the ferrule real well. So I find they come apart more than they might normally. Whereas like the Artist Opus brushes, those things are going to live up to some serious use.
Yeah.
And same thing with the Army Painter brushes. Speaking of Army Painter, rant number 2 for spray can number 2.
Oh, no.
That absolutely failed on me last night. So, yeah, I will never again I will buy their paint and thin it down and use it through my airbrush. I will not buy the rattle cans anymore.
Yeah.
To heck with them. Anyway,
That sucks.
I finished
what color
up.
was it?
Good, the green skin.
Oh.
I was painting the eradicators, so I just wanted to get a quick. Nope, it decided to blow the little top off and just spew green paint everywhere across my tree outside.
Wow.
So, yep, not digging it. I finished my squad of intercessors, so put them out there on the Facebook page, put them out on Reddit. People seem to think they're okay. So I enjoyed the heck out of painting them, really. And then I had a little bit of a Terrainapalooza. I built the Administratum building and started working on the Vertigus box.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get all that terrain built and then start looking at maybe a Saturday afternoon paint session to get all that stuff knocked up to where it's playable.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll be here. I'll help you paint it up.
All right. I discovered something about the Instar paint line.
Instar paint.
Yeah, it's a brand of paint called Instar.
Okay.
And they make these two really good additives. One of them is called Matte Plus. The other one is Gloss Plus. And these are additives that go into your paints to either increase their matte, their non-shininess, or their glossiness.
Really?
And one thing that you should never, ever do is have some of that stuff on your palette that you were using to mix into other paints and then put it across your Space Marine shoulder pad to
Oh, no.
Yes. Oh my God. It went on like milk. And you know, you're in this groove and you're like, okay, yeah, it's very thick and it's white, but it's a, you know, it's a matte paint. So it's going to dry very, very clear. And you just don't think about it. And you put it on there and you're like, oh my God, this is the additive, not the paint. Oh God.
Oh.
So I was there with a Q-tip and thank God I had sealed it. You know, once I had the decal on, I sealed it, and then I would hit it with the Lamy and medium to dull it back down.
Yeah.
But, oh, God, thank God I had done that because I could have been starting over on that. Oh, and I wanted to talk about the pain train. So I'm going to put a video up on the Facebook thing, but I made a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a wound counter setup for 40K and AOS and all that stuff. I'll put a video up on Facebook, but basically all it is some 3D printed dice holders. One of them has a big arrow on it, so it points to the model that you're tracking wounds for. And then I put a whole bunch of magnets in them so that as it takes more wounds than, say, perhaps 6, you can just magnetically slide up the next tray and keep counting. And all the way up until, I don't care how long you get. You
35 wound Mega Gargant.
Yeah, you can have a tracker for it. So they're very cool. They work really, really well. I painted them gray. So, but I will put the paint train video up on Facebook. I was thinking about maybe even selling them, or maybe even talking to Tectonic Dan. Maybe have them done up in MDF.
Yeah.
And they're I think they're handy. I looked at a whole bunch of the different wound counters on Etsy, and a lot of them are the same idea, just an arrow that points to the model.
Right.
And dice holders, but usually it's either one, or they make them that crazy shape for a D20 or a D10, or they're just a single, and they make them in up to triple. And I just didn't like that aesthetic. I want something a little more modular. So I decided to make my own.
Cool.
And last but not least in creation, last time we talked about resources to get you going in the hobby. And I realized I had skipped 2 of the best YouTube channels for doing hobby creation and terrain and conversions and building stuff. And that would be Eric's Hobby Workshop and Miscast. Those guys do amazing work of building terrain for 40K, whatever, and just showing you how to use all these different, some of his projects use cut-up water guns, that you buy at the dollar store. And they look really good. He turned it into a crane, and you're like, yeah, that's perfect. That's just perfect. And, of course, Miscast does the same thing. He's more into he's building a Nurgle army right now where every model is converted. Every single model is a conversion. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
And then also want to throw a shout out to Midwinter Minis, because he does painting kind of like Sonic Sledgehammer, painting for the rest of us, painting for people that want to get armies painted. And yet he does it, I think you have to watch his videos. There's more of more flair to it. So,
okay.
But I think we left them out last time, and that wasn't fair.
Fair enough.
That wasn't very nice of us. So shall we move on to battle?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! This is where they die!
He's a very angry man.
Yeah. Did he try diplomacy?
Did they try talking at all?
Just seems a little.
Maybe if they'd gone for a little revenue sharing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, you want to have access to a warm water port? We're cool with that.
Let's trade spices.
Yeah. I would give you spices for your silk. All right. Let's talk about the game we played. Let's not. So we played a Crusade game. Yeah. We pushed some models around. We rolled some dice. Boom. It was over. Okay.
Wow.
So then...
Wow.
I'm not salty about losing.
No, I didn't detect any salt.
It was actually a pretty good game.
It was a low sodium recap, if you will.
Totally.
So we played a game that was based around the Crusade rules for a campaign that we're doing. And we started at 50 power level.
Yep.
But we both spent a requisition point to up it to 55. And
I think it was 52? I had 52. You had 51?
I had 55 on the nose.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder you won.
Yeah, totally. That's what pushed it over the edge, Bill. Would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you, filthy.
You meddling kids.
You meddling kids. We played the sabotage mission. I was the attacker, you were the defender, so I had to basically get through your entire army and then have enough turns afterwards to go around blowing up objectives.
Yeah.
Which on the surface was not, it was rough.
It's a tough nut to crack. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, it's going to be.
And to be fair, it looked like you honestly had it up until the very end. In fact, we were going to call it turn 3.
We should have called it.
Yeah, we should have called it. Because I was just like, man, you just have too much left on the table.
Yeah.
And I could table you. I will likely table you at like turn 5.
Yeah.
And then I won't be able to touch any of the objectives, or I'll touch like 1. And really, I need at least 3.
Yeah.
So and then we were like, well, let's do one more turn. Let's do one more turn. And you brought a repulsor.
Yes.
Which
About
is
a transport.
Yeah, a transport to a very small game, which, makes sense. And
I'm going to throw something at you.
I had our guys start 3 inches away from each other, but by all means, hop inside the truck. Anyways, and that said repulsor was like in the middle of the biggest scrum.
Yeah. It was center of the board. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it was melee central.
And I lit it up with my eradicators.
Mhm.
Eradicators do what eradicators do. And it went Nova
Yes, it did.
and proceeded to leave a crater where a bunch of your stuff used to be.
Yeah, when I would roll for your units, it'd be like, oh, look, 1 mortal wound. Roll for mine. Oh, 3 mortal wounds, 3 mortal wounds,
Yeah.
3 mortal wounds.
And even when you did roll like 3 mortal wounds for mine are Black Templar,
Yeah,
so they got a
you gotta
5
roll out.
save against it.
Yeah.
And I was making those saves too. So when the smoke cleared, there was a bunch of the Emperor's finest standing there over the corpses of salamanders.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went on to
Let's not say the Emperor's finest.
whoa.
Let's just say Rogel Dorn's rejects. So, Rogel's rejects.
First of all, how dare you?
Okay, so if you were real, you stayed in Imperial Fist. If you were some offshoot guy with anger issues, you went with Sigismund and became a Black Templar, mostly because the rest of the Imperial Fists were like, we're weird and we don't like those guys.
Yeah, and we went traipsing around the galaxy prosecuting a war against chaos for 10,000 years while your guys stayed at home learning animal husbandry and how to plant soybeans. So maybe that's why you were laying on the ground with your face in the mud while the Black Templars took the W home, baby.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's count that one.
It was a great game. It was a much better game than the
that
out of the box
toy game we did. Yeah.
We did. Yeah. Again, it was just generic Marines against generic Necrons to learn the new 9th edition rules.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good game. Definitely looking forward to playing some more.
One of those games where at the end of my shooting phases, I felt really good. I felt like I had a really good chance at this one. At the end of your shooting phase, I was like, Christ, I can't. There's nothing I can do.
It was going back and forth.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was a nail biter. It was a nail biter.
Yeah. Ended up pulling out the W. Our team is getting a bunch of wins, which is really sweet. I haven't looked at the week, the first segment recap or however you want to phrase it.
I actually extended it a week because not a lot of, at the time, Sunday, not a lot of games had been played.
Yeah.
And then Anders came in with like 2 more games and I came in with my other game.
Right.
So I was like, oh, damn, maybe I shouldn't. But yeah, I didn't want it to just, look silly on week 1. And
right.
we extended the first turn by a week. So then.
Yeah, you got another one in.
I went in and got another game, a 25 power level game with Castillo from the store. And it was his first game of 9th edition. And he had his Gene Stealer cults. And it was, let me just say, I won this game. But it was also a very glaring demonstration of how a force that's tailored for the 9th edition rules going up against a force that hasn't really been updated completely.
Oh, okay.
Is they're on the back foot a little bit, because where I was shrugging off wounds and ignoring -1 AP, and a lot of his army is based on -1 AP.
That was
it's hard for him to fight.
That was a rough hill for my arm.
Yeah,
to climb
it was.
too.
Yeah,
That
it was rough for you,
bad.
and you were on an even keel.
Yeah,
So
that ignoring AP -1 is real.
it was really it was tough. So yeah, we played the incursion mission Assassinate, and he named me as the defender. So that meant my warlord had to set up within 6 inches of the center of my deployment zone, and we had already set up the board. So I was out in the middle of the open, the middle of nowhere, and yeah, it was pretty sad for my guys. But I surrounded him with intercessors and made good on that. I only took one full round of in the open shooting, which I was able to shrug off, because in that Assassinate mission, so yeah, the game is basically no objectives, just kill the enemy warlord or kill my warlord, and he would get points every turn if he did wounds to him, and then the game ends immediately if he kills him.
Oh wow!
Or it would end at the end of that turn. My victory points come from not having him die and having the warlord kill units. So you can't just hide the warlord in the back corner and say, you won't win. The best you'll do is a draw. So I had to lead with my chin. And what was kind of crazy was, Gene Stealers have all the blips, and they come up from the underground, and they basically deep strike wherever they want to. Oh, my God, they were everywhere. I think the only mistake he made was, instead of overloading one of my sides, he came in piecemeal enough that I was able to deal with a unit that popped up before the next one came in to hurt me. So I was able to get, thankfully, the Keller Morph. And, yeah, that thing could have been ugly.
Was that by design? Like, their rules state that they have to come in piecemeal like that, or was that a personal choice?
No, I think it was a personal choice.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was this. I mean, we talked about it after the game. He should have just tried to overload my amount of choices.
Yeah. I mean, if you could deep strike right into your guts, then just throw it.
Yeah, I mean, he was deep striking right into my chili, but he went on either side of the board instead of just loading up one side and saying, deal with too many targets because you can't shoot this much. So, because, yeah, it was a near run thing. I was never really comfortable because he had those mining drills, the Strength 9, AP3.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I will just do a number on you. Oh, my. And he was rolling so bad. Oh, it wasn't even. I mean, there was one time he picked up the dice for either the rock drill, the melee rock drill, or the rock saw. He picks them up and rolls 3 ones. Nice. And I was like, "Oh wow, nice. Yeah, that saved my intercessors right there." So, but yeah, we got into close combats, and we got into a little bit of everything in that game. It was I did not realize until I was driving home that we actually played it on a regular sized board, the 44 by 30 for the bigger missions, the 50-point missions. Uh-oh. We actually should have even been playing it on a smaller board, which probably would have helped him a bit. But it would have also helped me. I would have been right in there with my assault intercessors.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, he did not have anything. Most of his stuff was Strength 3, whereas mine was Strength 4. Or he was T3 and I was Strength 4. So
AP1, yeah.
Yeah, when I was going in there with the chainsword guys and I was on the charge, it was just like I was deleting things.
Yeah.
So, and same thing with the captain. He would just go in there with the power sword.
Oh, yeah, 25 power level. The Space Marine captain is pretty rough.
Yeah. And it's, I had to take him. I took the Psyker just because I was like, that's a throwaway unit. None of my powers are actually, I'm going to beat you up powers. They're buffs. Yeah. So, yeah, I figured he'd be a safe use of 5 points. Right. Because I had a feeling it was going to go, the Gene Stealers weren't going to be up to the current standard, and they weren't. They need some help with their stratagems and units. Although they have that shoot. I mean, I maybe they are pretty good. I think maybe. I think they are definitely, they got game. They got legs. Because that ability to pop up anywhere, plus they have a stratagem where you can pop up within 3.
Oh, wow.
That's like
That's
in your
really good.
You take that with the...
And I'll offer a quick little addendum. Obviously, we're talking about Gene Stealer Cult, not Tyranids.
Right.
They are a separate thing. But I will offer an addendum to my comment that I made at the top of the show about the battle report that I watched. It was actually a Black Templar army versus Tyranids, and the Black Templars shot off the Tyranids, which you wouldn't think Templars would do. That being said, this was 9th edition, but it was the old Marine book.
Oh, okay.
It was like that little gap there between the new.
Right, in between the.
Which meant that the chapter master model for the Templars gave that massive bubble of reroll. Everything.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's that issue, too. And that's no longer a thing anymore.
Nope.
You can't do that. So.
Thankfully.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a kind of a skewed battle report.
Sure. Yeah, there was that span in between the drop of 9th and these first 2 codexes where the game was weird because it was just recently that they came out with that massive amount of FAQs and the rewrites for a lot of the Psychic Awakening stuff got combined, condensed, 9th edition updated, and then put back out there so that you can play slightly better games. But you can see where there's a lot of factions that need a real book treatment.
Well, that's the way it always is, right? I mean,
it is.
We say the same thing for AOS. There's some books, Gloomspite, Beast of Chaos, and Sylvaneth and stuff that could really use.
Gargants, Sons of Behemoth. No, I'm kidding.
Seraphon.
Yeah.
They're already literally unplayable.
Yeah, they're just,
Oh, Bill.
Well, here's the deal. Here's what's wrong with Seraphon, okay? For
Saurus Warriors.
Well, okay, yeah. Hello.
The sculpts of Saurus Warriors.
Yeah, let's go with that. But here's the deal. Like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're super good in Magic. We finally have something that we can hang our hat on, and we're really good at this Magic thing, and yay. And then all of a sudden, Teclis comes out, and he's like, oh, that's cute. You guys do Magic too. I'm a god. Why don't you guys just step back to the back? All right? You just leave now, you lizard people.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
Definitely.
do you mean, you people?
Seraphon are definitely literally unplayable again.
Right back to the bottom of the totem pole.
And I am so kidding. People don't.
Yeah, no, Seraphon is really good.
Oh my God.
That was games. Both revolved around the Crusade campaign we're doing.
Yeah.
They're both 40K games. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know, but that's kind of what we're super into right now because we've got the campaign going at the store. And that's the campaign that's going. I'm sure when this wraps up, we'll probably do an AOS campaign. I personally would like to do an AOS, an offshoot of that Firestorm.
Didn't you have some choice words about Firestorm?
Look, I was younger then, okay? That was almost near the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Now, I thought there were some glaring errors with the Firestorm campaign rules only because, and I'll say this now, I was wrong. Or, no, I was right, but in the wrong way. Because I'm never wrong. I'm a lord.
Oh, no.
Look, I have the paperwork to prove it. Basically, it's a map campaign where there's no rhyme or reason to where you fight or how you fight there. And I'm more of the purist kind of thing where, you start with a territory and you expand that territory. The Firestorm campaign is designed more around here's this chunk of a realm, and it doesn't matter how this is high fantasy. We bit between these different areas like there's no tomorrow. We have gates everywhere. Yeah. So get over yourself, you little freaking highbrow purist. So anyway, that's what I'd like to do as a Firestorm campaign because they're simple, they're easy. Not a lot of extra stuff for people to remember. Like even this Urban Conquest campaign, I think there's just too much stuff I had to change because of the 9th edition impact that it makes it a little more difficult for people to grok. So I'd like to simplify that even more.
All right. Well, we'll cross that bridge.
We will indeed. But that will be our next campaign is a Firestorm AOS campaign. Where I will play my death and be the death of you all. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. What? Look, I got the sugar in me. You can tell. I'm just so excited. I have a day off, and it's
Yeah.
just beside myself. I was playing Star Wars: The Old Republic today. I was like, I haven't done this in ages.
Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning as I was dragging my ass out of bed to go to work. I was like, because I stayed up way too late yesterday,
Of course.
painting.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I should just take a day off.
Mm-hmm.
Just paint all day long.
Relax, and when you feel like it, just go in and take a nap,
Yeah.
and then get up and paint some more. You know.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right, let's jump into the lore.
All right. Today's lore is brought to you by the letter Q.
Oh, okay. That's very nice. Q as in question? All right, so shall we kick off into the lore?
Yeah, today's lore is brought to you by the letter. I'm just kidding.
I just edited that entire block out. You're going to go there again.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes.
Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we've only recorded this show once before.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, so for lore, like I said, we're going to knock through some white dwarfs from June 2016.
You didn't touch on the last bits of battle that were on the back of the sheet.
No, I just decided not to.
Oh,
We'll talk about that later.
okay.
You know, yeah, because well, I mean, we know Crusade is really, really cool.
Yeah, Crusade is.
We are
super
really enjoying the heck out of that, and I can tell them about the wrist strap later.
fun. Okay.
So, because I have decided that I am way too slow of a player, and I now have a plan forward to get better,
There you go.
to get faster, not better. Nothing's going to improve the fact that I am lousy at these games.
Well, you get better the more you play. You'll
That's
play more if it doesn't take you 6 hours to do a
That's a very good point.
small game.
Yes. So I got one of those football quarterback wrist things, and I will have my stat lines on that, and then I will have some notes to remind me of
So that you don't have to
different
spend
things so that I don't spend,
5
even
minutes
with cards.
Yeah, flipping through a book and every single time. Yeah.
I'll say one thing, you know, I printed up those the cards for the 40K units, and boy, I'll tell you what, that helped a ton. Helped me a ton. So
Yeah, it's weird they don't do cards for 40K.
I still cannot get over that. I mean, they did cards for Cities of Sigmar, which is, you know, the thickest one I think they've ever done. Yeah, okay, so Space Marines have a lot of units too. Charge me $40 instead of $25. I'm good. But, I mean, I don't know why they don't do them. I don't know why.
It sometimes, I swear, it feels like it's two separate divisions within the company.
Yeah.
That don't interact at all between 40K and AOS.
Well, and they leech each other's rules and ideas and, you know, their methods, but they don't take some of the very mechanical things from, you know, 40K has like almost a custom dice set for some of the armies, and yet one of the things you expect with an AOS release is a set of dice for that thing and a set of
endless
cards.
spells and terrain and cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, I will get my terrain piece. I will get all of these ancillary things that make playing my faction a ton easier.
Yep.
So I don't know. Yeah, listen up, 40K, Mr. Credis, sir. Cards would
figure
be
it out.
cool.
Yeah.
And we'll buy them. I mean, don't think for a moment they'll flop.
Right.
Just don't charge, you know, $90 for collector's cards. But, you know, give me a nice, hell, for Space Marines, charge me $40. For Necrons, you know, the 25. Or, you know, however many cards there are. But, yeah, you'll go a long way towards making all of us happy. And don't tell me you can't print them because you did it for Apocalypse.
Wow. Shots fired.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's get into the lore, where we're going to reminisce a little bit.
Oh, memory.
And because it is show 100, and this is Brohammer, so get over it. And we're going to talk about Brohammer,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And-
Brohammer.
how we're going to kind of move on from not that, but from that specifically.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual show Brohammer, but I guess that was out before you were into.
No, I'm
Yeah,
talking
so-
about, you know, the Brohammer type shows where it's just two dudes talking about the game. Oh, wait, that's us.
Talking about something anyway.
Yeah. And I think I said we're going to talk about the White Dwarf from the month that we...
The White Dwarfs.
Yeah, because much to our chagrin,
Ugh.
It's White Dwarf Weeklies.
White Dwarf Weeklies.
But we hit those at the top of the show. So.
Coming to disappoint you all.
Yeah. In fact, you want to do that start? You want to start off with the White Dwarfs and then we'll reminisce?
Yeah.
All right. Which ones do you want? I tell you what, I'll split them up.
Okay. Just shuffle.
Here's the first one and the third one, and you can have the second and the fourth. So, I think you have I have the first one. So, White Dwarf for the month of June 2016 was The Horror of the Tyranids. And it was also the release of the Munitorium containers. So, coming out that week, you had the Tech Priest Engine Seer, the Tyranid Broodlord, which, was that a new rule? Was that a new model in 2016? The Broodlord?
Yes, because I think he came out in Space Hulk. And then they released him as an actual model later.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe.
Yep. I was going to say, because that's weird. Yep. And then that's the month that they did, or this is the month where they did the Munitorium Armored Containers kit, which is a cracking good kit. So, needless to say, this entire White Dwarf Weekly is a paint splatter on how to paint them, and also how to paint Hive Fleet Leviathan and the Megalodon Splinter Fleet colors. And then there's some Hall of Fame pictures of some pretty models, which is a waste because they also have visions.
Yeah.
And then they did Golden Demon Horus Heresy, which is a waste because they had visions. And then they had a Flesh is Weak article, which is just an interview with a guy who does a really nicely done AdMech army. But yeah, it's sort of a waste of an issue. Unless you really like containers or Tyranids. So.
Yeah. So the next one, issue 124, is all about Lost Patrol.
Yay!
Which was a cool little tile game that they came out with of Gene Stealer versus
Scouts.
Wow. Yeah, Gene Stealers versus Space Marine Scouts, because apparently Terminators were too strong for him in Space Hulk.
Yeah, they were
I don't
always.
know how Scouts are supposed to stand up to Gene Stealers, but
Did you ever play that game though?
No, I remember
played decently.
Yeah, I remember Dave Witek talking about playing it somewhat on Garage Hammer back in the day. So yeah, this is basically just that. There's a thing for the start collecting Chaos Space Marines and Militarum Tempestus boxes.
Ooh yeah,
which is really cool. Oh yeah, they were only $85 back then. I think they're like 90 or 95 now, but
yeah,
still really good deals. And then Gene Stealer Genealogy, just some story stuff about Gene Stealers, which is pretty cool. And then, pictures of ridiculously gorgeous models, which, like you said, utterly pointless because of visions.
Yep.
So.
Sad, but sad.
Yeah.
And what's really sad is a lot of people swore off White Dwarf because of Weekly, because of things like this.
Yeah.
So going to issue 125, which was 18 June, and our show released on 16 June. So we did not talk about the Start Collecting Eldar and Start Collecting Dark Eldar boxes that came out.
Oh yeah, you can't even get that Eldar box anymore.
Nope. Had the Fire Prism, which you could build as a Night Spinner, the 3 Wind Riders, and a Farseer Skyrunner. So a 5 model Start Collecting kit, but still a good value kit. And then the Dark Eldar was an Archon, 3 Reavers, 10 Warriors, Cabalite Warriors, and a Raider. So another good kit, another good thing to have.
Which also you can't get anymore. No, I think the new one has witches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So moving on, they have Armies on Parade. Then they have an article on the Paths of the Eldar where they give you a little bit of an overview, sort of lore about how the different paths worked. And then they go to eliminations on the Eldar. So we learn about how they conceptualize Eldar in the art. So not a bad article, but not the place, I think, in a weekly magazine. But anyway, they go on to do some reader models, a lot of reader models, a couple pages of that. Then they talk about the Unquiet Dead, which is a story about a guy's army. Yeah, and that was the end of that issue. So again, yeah, if none of that stuff hit you in the feels place. So what was your last closing?
Issue 126 is all about Storm Cloud Attack.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. What a fun game.
So this was a series of 3 separate boxes, Storm Cloud Attack boxes, and each one had a flyer from different armies. So one was a Helldrake and not a
Thunderhawk, a Raven.
Storm Talon.
Storm Talon.
Another was a Hemlock Wraith Fighter and a Daka Jet.
That's the one I got, yeah.
Yeah, and then the last one was a Razor Shark Strike Fighter and
Yeah.
a Night Scythe.
Yep.
Which, was cool, whatever. But it came with a bunch of really cool rules on how to do aerial combat, dogfights.
Yes.
Which, that kind of stuff is always cool.
Well, and what's funny is they use those Storm Cloud Attack rules in, I think it's this year's Age of Sigmar General's Handbook. That's that aerial fighting system that they have in there, is the Storm Cloud Attack system.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and then it had to start collecting Blood Angels,
Oh, yeah.
which came with a Razorback, a Captain, and I think he's in Terminator armor. Yeah, Captain in Terminator armor, and then this was like right after the new Tactical Marine sprue came out.
Yep.
And this is a really good deal because you got the Tactical Marine sprues, and then you also got the Blood Angels
Right.
sprue on top of it, which came with like a heavy flamer, a bunch
Yeah.
of really cool Blood Angel bits, stuff like that. So this was a really good box.
But what always hit me about that box was they put a rhino in there. Was it a rhino or a razorback?
No, it's actually a Ball Predator. I'm sorry.
I was going to say it should have been the ball predator.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so actually, and this was 85. They were all universally 85
wow.
when they came out.
That box was a huge value then.
Yeah.
Because just the ball predator itself at the time, I think, was $60.
Yeah, something like that. Plus, if you were doing Blood Angels, 3 of these, pretty good deal. It gave you 3 tactical squads and 3 Ball Predators, and the Ball Predator was many.
Could have done work.
And then after that, it's got a breakdown of some Dark Eldar stuff. I don't know if it's like a story. Looks like
Yeah, I think that's the continuation because they did the Eldar breakdown of the paths in this first one. They did the Dark Eldar in that issue.
So, yeah, I'd say actually out of the 4, if you're looking for something that has some content, this would be it if you're interested in doing aerial battles for 40K.
Yep.
But, yeah, you got 4 issues in a month. They're $4 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
So $16 to get what at the time just before was, I think, only like $8.
8 or 9, yeah.
For a White Dwarf. And this was basically 4 mini articles and some pictures of pretty painted models, which you then spent like $12 on Visions.
On Visions to get,
Tons of pretty models. Yeah, you were basically paying double to get like a third of the content.
Yeah, and
especially compared to what White Dwarf is now.
I would say, yeah, you take this month's issue or this latest issue, you match the content up against those 4, and I believe you will find those 4 are far wanting.
Yeah, and people may say, like, if they don't remember this, if they're just now getting into the game and all of that, they don't remember White Dwarf weeklies. They might say, well, why did they do it? And to be fair, White Dwarf was kind of terrible leading up to the
weekly. Yeah, any change would have been good.
Yeah, it was basically these 4 issues just in one.
Mm-hmm.
There was very little content. It was all just...
Well, it was half catalog.
Yeah, because they didn't have really a website with new releases lined up, and they weren't doing any of that. So they were very anti-hyping their own stuff.
And very anti-internet embracement.
Yeah.
I mean, they flirted with it, and then they found out that sometimes people leave nasty comments. And so they got way out of it because they didn't want... I mean, I understand why, as a brand, they didn't want to give people a platform to knock the brand. But still...
people do that anyways. That's what happens when you're at the top of the game.
Exactly.
And I remember back then, it was such a weird thing between them and Privateer Press, because like Privateer Press would announce stuff like a year in advance.
Oh my God!
Like you knew what was coming for your Army a long time ahead.
Yep.
And then you'd switch over to GW, and you had no idea what was coming out in the next week.
And
it was more of like, here's a pretty picture of what just came out. You guys can get this. It's literally on the shelf next to the box, but we'll charge you money for a magazine with pictures of what's
to tell you
on
what
the
you're
shelf
gonna
next
get.
to the magazine. Yeah, it was like, what is this?
Yeah, it was a weird time.
Yeah.
It was a dark time in White Dwarf history. But, we've gotten past it, and it's so much better now.
I don't really want to like crap on them. I just want it like to give people context of really appreciate what it is now. And I know it's been a rough year for GW releases, especially on the ALS side. Like it's been hard to stay positive, I'll say, about it. And I know that I've slipped off and gotten pretty negative about just the releases in general, not being happy with what's come out or the lack thereof. But in general, we've had year after year now of a torrential downpour of releases from GW for every game you could want. Yeah. Even Lord of the Rings gets substantial updates. All the side games get love now. I mean, the new edition of Blood Bowl is coming out. Almost, it seems like probably every third or fourth show we do, there's Adeptus Titanicus
or Necromunda
or Aeronautica Imperialis content.
Major releases. We're not talking about here's a thing, shut up.
It's like here's a whole campaign book. Yeah. As well as a new model or two.
And the models that you need to go with it, and some cards, and some this, and some that, and a revamp of it's been...
they're on it.
To say it's a golden age is... I mean, I know a lot of times when you're in the moment, you look at it as it's always a golden age. But in this case, knowing the 25, 30-year history of GW, it is really now...
It's a platinum age.
It is something to be reckoned with.
It's the unobtainium age. Yeah. Right?
Okay.
We're going to chop down a big tree now.
Okay.
And make 6 films about it.
Sweet. I think we could make some money on that.
Maybe.
All right.
Just crazy enough to work.
Yeah, I hear you.
What do we want to reminisce about, Bill?
Well, I thought we would go back and talk about the show when it began. And
there was an episode 1.
Yeah, and it was in June of 2016.
It was shortly followed by episode 2.
Yeah, well, about 2 weeks later.
And it just kind of like rolled from there.
Just kind of moved on.
Yeah, it's been. I seriously can't believe we've done 100 episodes of this.
It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah. And if you've listened to all 100 episodes,
oh my God,
I just want to say
we should pay
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry for everything. I'll apologize to you more than I'll ever apologize to my children.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Wow.
Yeah. No, seriously though, it is. I remember when we got to episode 10, and we thought that was so cool because old Ben Curry, was like, I don't listen to any of you scrubs until you get 10 episodes out. And we were like, boom, we did it. Listen. Milestone complete. Achieved. Yeah, achievement unlocked. Yeah.
And here we are, 100 episodes in. Ooh, wow. Strange beginnings. Meeting in a Del Taco.
Yeah.
Eating way too much food.
Yeah.
And just you, me, and James talking about what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go and kind of how we wanted to structure it. And
the whole goal of this, of starting this show, was to try to get as much free stuff from Games Workshop as we possibly could.
Yeah, so you just rake in.
And now that we literally have rooms filled with stuff that you guys don't know is coming out.
Yeah.
For the next couple of years, we're going to go ahead and shut the show down and bunker up and just
we pretty much got our goods.
Play Warhammer 40K 10th edition because we already have that in hand.
And AOS 4, which is a big improvement over 3.
Yeah, I honestly, this new faction for destruction.
Yeah, it's
the submarine goblins.
Yeah,
are phenomenal. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's a neat rule set. It needs tweaking, but
Yeah.
yep.
Anyways, we started this because we wanted to develop a scene in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Also, maybe let people know that New Mexico is actually a state.
In America.
In America,
not, yeah.
in the United States of America.
Don't need a passport.
Not a territory of Mexico. You don't. Yeah, you do not need a passport to come here, and that is not a joke.
No.
Yeah, and to also kind of reach out to
Organizers.
Organizers in the Southwest, but everywhere in general. You always want to kind of give a voice to the community as much as possible, but also just to kind of coordinate with people out here. And thanks to COVID,
yeah,
that is non-existent, buddy. We have not run a Rolling Bad Rumble in years.
Yeah, 2 years now.
There are no events going on anywhere near here. I think the closest was Wichita, Kansas, which is 11-ish hours away from here, which, if you know us, you know that we'll go to events like that.
Yep.
Because that is kind of down the street, essentially, when you live in the Southwest.
That's right.
Not that far of a drive.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we're in such a weird place. There are events happening. There's some even happening here in the States.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if I would risk going as much as I miss. I don't miss playing the game at a tournament level, but by God, I miss the people.
Getting
the
around
social
together
aspect
with
of it.
I would say the thing, like what Chuck Moore is doing. He's doing these backyard, large open space. Set up a table every 10 feet, maybe 6 to 8, maybe 10 people. None of this, let's all get together in the kitchen and, grab a bite to eat thing. Everybody's outside. We're wearing masks. It's kind of where we have to go going forward because we've got to start making and thinking about changes. I don't think we're at a point right now where we can say, well, in a couple of months, it'll get back to normal.
Yeah, no.
We're not going to see that. And honestly, I don't want to bury my head in the sand, but a year ago, we were all getting together and doing these things without a thought. And we were sneezing and coughing and shaking hands and hugging and what have you. And we really didn't think about it. But now we have a much more greater appreciation for how maybe some of our habits weren't the best. Even though we didn't pay for them before, there was no real bad. Now we understand that there's a bad with some of this. So we have to rethink how we do stuff. Yeah,
well, here's a question for you, because you always hear people talk about post-con funk.
Yeah.
And people get home after a convention, and a lot of people get sick afterwards, and it's because you take the unwashed masses and cram them into a convention hall.
With little sleep and crappy food.
Lots and lots of alcohol, and germs pass quick, man. That's what they do, and we're finding that out the hard way when a very real one shows up.
Yeah, we kind of got away with it because con crud was just like a little flu.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that ruined your life.
So I do wonder, now once things, I don't want to say go back to normal. I don't think there's ever any going back after this.
We're going to have a new version of normal.
Yeah. I do wonder if people's views towards just hygiene in general or whatever at events will change.
We were talking earlier about, LVO. Right now it's currently still on. But there's going to be that question of it's still on and maybe it goes off without a hitch. Maybe, but how many people are going to go because they have a real concern to bring something? It's not them they're worried about. It's perhaps mom and dad or perhaps the wife and child that they don't want to take that risk for. So again, we'll have a vaccine one of these days and we'll get back to a semblance of normal. But I think in that interim, we need to start looking at doing things like the backyard, the Warhammer in the Park thing. We can go down to Loma, Colorado and use some of those tables, do some creative alternative ideas to get a group of people together. And yeah, maybe we don't, sit around a table and all eat lunch 2 feet from each other, but we'll still be able to get together and drink a few beers and play a few games and have some fun and maybe de-stress and relax a little. So it's one of those things. We have to look for new ways and be creative on how we do stuff. That's all.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to reminiscing. So, because that wasn't reminiscing, that's going forward.
Yeah.
That was our mission statement. was to make people aware of the Southwestern community and convention scene.
Yeah, that's because we met each other at the Trials of Ogier that I ran at the store, and which is one of your favorite events ever, where you fell deeply in love with Age of Sigmar
And the people that play it.
and the and the people who play it.
I will never forget meeting the salty Scotsman who was like, I just put together this soft list of 30 models with 2 freaking hell cannons, was it? What were those corn things?
Yeah, standard.
Yeah.
Ryan
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Yeah. Soft.
Super
list.
soft.
Yeah.
Pillow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I brought the contents of the Age of Sigmar starter box.
Yeah.
Thinking, well, hell, that's 30 models. I got this. I'm good with everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be super competitive.
How'd that work out for you, Bill?
Let's just say that I left there thinking I will never, ever get together with any of these people ever again.
Yeah. Well, luckily for our listeners, or not,
Or not.
due to my unrelenting charm, my magnetic personality,
Oh, yes.
I managed to reel you back in
Right. That's right.
and convince you that, A, not only should you continue to play this game, B, not only should you continue to play this game, but you should buy almost every single army that comes out, leave it in shrink wrap, put it on your shelves. But also C, that you should do a podcast with me and James about said game, and that you should edit all 100 episodes. In fact, the show in perpetuity. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I'm good.
Wow.
I'm good like that, I'll work on the Middle East next.
Would you please?
Yeah,
Would
see
ya?
if I could pencil that one in.
I was just thinking if I could go back in time one day, I would just get sick that day. No, I would not have missed it for the world. And in fact, I sat there and I thought about it. I was a little salty leaving there and, driving back home. And I'm like, what a bunch of absolute, these are the exact kind of people that I rail about. The baby seal clubbers, all of that. That's what that entire thing was. And then I sat there and I thought, no, you idiot. You're the odd man out. You're the one that doesn't have 18 different Warhammer Fantasy Battle armies with models to pick from.
Yeah.
And you're going to pick and choose. Which 30 models are you going to pick and choose from? The losers? Probably not. So, yeah, it was pretty much, I got over my feel bads pretty quick. Mostly because, the crowd was a fun crowd. They were definitely good people.
I was all right.
Well, you were good. Yeah. Ryan was acceptable.
Strong word.
Strong word.
Strong word.
No, he was fun. I mean, it was a one-sided beat down, but, luckily he and I both smoked. So it was like, well, this is over fast. Let's go smoke.
There you go.
I do remember, however, we had to paint one mage for that. And I literally painted that like the night before because I showed up with a gold spray painted army.
Where is that model?
She's up there on the shelf.
There,
Yeah. She's my AOS addiction. I look at her every now and again and I go, you're the reason for this shed, you stupid woman.
Yep.
And she's not even an AOS miniature. She's a D&D miniature.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she was my mage. She was my ice mage.
That's right. Yeah, the Iceman. Good times.
Yep. It's good fun. Yeah, and then we got together at Del Taco, you, me, and James, and we said, screw it, let's do this.
Yeah.
And because we can be every bit as good as Garage Hammer.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot.
Yeah, the bar was not set high. Anybody can sit in a room and talk to a hockey puck for 3 hours.
Ooh.
While they eat on the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's a like a 4-year-old shot.
Yeah,
there.
I was going to say, man, turn the page.
Never let it go.
But yeah, I remember thinking that we could, we'll just do what Facehammer does. It's simple.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy. We'll just dive into these things and just get it done, Yeah. And then James left us about 20 some odd episodes in. So
I don't remember what episode was his last.
I think 26, 27.
Yeah, maybe so. Wow.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Brought in Ryan for a little bit.
Yep.
And then you left for a little bit. And then it was me and Ryan.
Yeah.
And then you came back, and Ryan, hey, wait a minute. I've never seen you guys in the same room.
Yeah.
And then we brought Chad on for a little bit.
Yeah, Midwest Chad.
But then COVID, and he has concerns.
Yeah.
So he's got, little kids and asthma and all those other things. So he's playing it a little safe. Right. So obviously. And here we are at 100 episodes. Some good, some not so good.
Yeah, we've definitely had our highs and lows.
Yeah. And it's funny because as I edit episodes, the ones that I think are going to bomb do really, really well. And the ones that I thought, man, we were on it. We got that. We nailed this one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, whatever. So much.
Yeah, there was definitely a point there. I don't know if it was like the 60s or 70s.
60s and 70s were tough.
We had a spot where we just cruised.
Yeah.
Like we'd come in, because normally now a 2-hour show takes us like 6 hours to record. There was a point there where like an hour and a half show would take us about an hour and 45 minutes to record.
Yeah.
Like basically what we said.
We came in, sat down, and and there was not a lot of editing. Every now and again, some snorts and some
dog barks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Where we lost that one.
Because I think we spend more time solving the world's problems and arguing about the financial policies and what have you than actually recording a show.
Yeah.
And we try to leave that out of the show because we've been told that people aren't here for that. Even though we have great ideas.
We have the best ideas.
Yeah.
If you people would just listen.
If we could be king for a day,
yeah,
we would fix this. All of it.
All of it.
So, yeah, the whole thing.
Top to bottom.
So now do you want to talk about where we're going with the show? And what we have decided to do?
What have we decided to do?
Remember, we were going to close it because we have all the fat lewd.
Yeah, that's, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, we're not. No, we've actually decided that we have avoided doing some topics and some types of content because we feel like it's the purview of other shows.
Yeah.
For instance, there's, when Dave and Alex do a lore episode, they really go through it. And I mean, Dave's a teacher. He knows how to annotate and study, and he pours into the lore and gets crazy good with it. And so we were like, that's pretty much their shtick. And, when it comes to pulling apart battle tomes for the rules and all this stuff, you got Facehammer. Right. And we refer to them a lot. If you want to hear what the heck is going on in the inside of a battle tome, listen to the Facehammer review. And now I would say, here's what really got me, is I've been listening to AOS Coach, and he dives into all these battle tomes. I also listen to Facehammer, and I find that I learn different things from both of them. And that's why we're going to start doing more along that lines of diving into some of these books and really pulling them apart, because everybody has a different take and all opinions are valid. Yeah. Except for the wrong ones.
So basically our opinions are the best because they're not opinions, they're facts.
That's right. And you can pretty much give up listening to those other shows.
Yep.
Because we'll pretty much have you covered.
It's all going to come straight from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the knowledge you
pretty
need.
much. Yeah. Because we're a direct pipeline to GW leadership.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the floor people, the rules writers and stuff. No, we come straight from the upper levels.
We've seen what replaces Primaris Marines.
Yeah. So. Wow. That one hurt me in the feels place because I'm not ready for that.
Right. Yeah. So basically, like, we just didn't want to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
But then we remember we realize like there's already a bunch of shows that do the narrative and fluff and background. There's a bunch of shows that do competitive. So let's just do what we want to do.
Yeah, Doug over at 2+. I mean, he does lore on everything. I really like his stuff, but sometimes I wish he'd go a little deeper. And, that might be something that we look at doing. Although I'm not talking about the painting handle.
I was going to say,
that off your
I wonder
face.
if he's ever heard that before. I wish he'd go a little deeper. With the lore.
With the lore.
Jeez.
With the lore.
It's probably in a YouTube comment somewhere.
Jesus, I'm sure.
Come on, listeners.
Yeah. You know us. God, totally above board. All right.
But yeah, mostly because it also, the more we're interested in what we're doing, the better show we're going to put
Exactly.
out. And I think we've kind of lost our way a bit with the show because it's so counterintuitive. We didn't want to do content because we didn't want to step on other people's toes. So we weren't interested in doing non-content, but still felt obligated to do content.
And we ended up doing larger issues, larger kinds of things. And, you know, like I would say one thing, you know, like that Pillars of the Hobby episode, that was huge. That thing went over really, really big. And it's one that I didn't know if it was going to hit. I should have figured it was because I stole it directly from independent characters. I should have figured it would hit.
Why don't we just copy literally everything they do?
Wow, what a good idea.
I just put an AOS
spin on it.
A thin AOS veneer over literally everything. Let's find the 3 most popular shows and just copy everything they do.
We'll pay for one of those translation places to do a script, and we'll just redo it.
Boom.
Oh,
Done.
So love it. But we'll do it without that weird British accent.
There you go. And I know another episode that really resonated was our whole discussion about Archeon. Is he a god or is he not?
Mm-hmm.
And I got some feedback too. So, and those were just times we sat down and it's like, what do we want to do?
Yeah. How do we want it? So, yeah, you're going to hear more. And it might not be all AOS. We might break down a 40K book.
Yeah.
You know, we might break down a fiction book. We might actually have both read a book, which would be weird.
Yeah.
And talk about just that. Episodes might be a little bit more focused. Well, I mean, we're still going to do New Dawn, and we're going to talk about our hobby and our battles and stuff because that's fun.
Yeah, but we don't want to just have a show be, here's models that are coming out. Here's a game that we thought about playing.
Yeah, because then we're going to be
we painted. And if you'd like to get a hold of us, you know what I mean.
We're going to be White Dwarf Weekly of the podcast world.
God. I think we were for a while.
You know, I think we really were.
We were.
Like half the show would be New Dawn.
Yeah.
And then we would be like, and here's this topic about AOS. And sometimes the double turn is bad. See ya. Okay. Yeah. The double turn has to be replaced.
Yeah, we were like the fluffers of the podcast world. It just kind of primed people for the real show.
Yeah, for the
that's not good.
For the good shows.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing, listeners. We're going to start bringing the heat again.
That's right.
Bringing the passion.
We're going to bring the pain.
Yeah.
If we do like Daughters of Cain or Drakari.
Right.
Like that.
Which might give us a really interesting look into the new painting handle if we're from a Drakari point of view. You know, that might be the things that let us really seal up around the edges.
I'm leaving this in.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like, I feel we could get it deep and just not relinquish. I don't know. Anyways.
I hate you
And when we
so
drop
much.
it has a loud.
You are just so... Okay. Anyway, what's next on our list of things to do? That's our new show.
Let's give something away.
Okay, I think we should.
Yeah.
Like
we
I
used to do that all the time. I think that's really why people listen to us.
That's the only reason is they're hoping that will come back. Well, it's back.
It's back, baby. Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for, I don't know,
100
at least
episodes.
half an hour.
4 years, yeah. We have 2 things to give away because...
Our love and affection.
Yes. And because we want your money. Well, when I say
the money.
we want your money, what I'm talking about is when this show drops, we are going to have a link to I think it's going to be a GoFundMe.
Yeah, that's like one of the most transparent ways to do it. Right?
And their fees for charity stuff are smaller than most.
Okay, cool.
So, but again, they have a smaller list of who they support. But anyway, there's going to be a campaign, and it will probably be a charitable donation to the American Cancer Society, or it'll be one of the more broad-ranging charities that
you talked about the St. Jude's Hospital.
St. Jude's Children's Hospital. One of those.
Yeah.
Will get, and for every $5 that you give to that charity, so it won't be going to us, this isn't a chance for us to get new cars, we will give you a ticket. If you are a Patreon person, I don't care what level you are supporting us at, you will get tickets into the raffle. And then we will just randomly pick it. Now, the first one, we're going to split it up into 2, perhaps 3, and I'm going to make it 3.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, boom, there it is. Now, let's make it 2 for right now, and then we'll do the other one as a surprise.
Oh.
I need to check the eBay price first. I might be screwing myself.
Okay.
The first one up is going to be an Indomitus box.
Right.
Still in shrink wrap because it's coming from my house.
Yeah.
If you want an Indomitus box in shrink wrap, just give some money to a worthy charity, and we'll put you in for the draw. That's all I can promise. I can't promise who will win. If you are a broadcasting member of this show, you cannot win.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
I feel targeted.
You were. So was I, though, because I wanted to win. But
Yeah.
I need those eradicators. Damn it.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's how that's going to go. And then when we close that one up, we'll probably leave that one up for like a month. And then we will open up and do a Lumineth Realm Lord Collector's Edition box.
Yeah.
So
Also
for
in shrink wrap.
AOS, yeah, also in shrink wrap for the AOS crowd. And then after that month wraps up, we may have a third giveaway, and that will be a specialist game that has been out of print for some time.
Wow.
Maybe. I'm not going to commit to it because if it's going for like $600 on eBay,
Fair enough.
I'm kidding. It's Space Hulk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still have a boxed Space Hulk,
Oh, wow.
shrink wrap, and everything.
All right.
So yeah,
There you go. And obviously we'll keep talking about these as the shows go on.
Oh, yeah.
We'll keep reminding.
Yep.
We'll be tweeting.
We'll be tweeting about it.
You'll be Facebooking. I don't have Facebook anymore. So
Really? Did you really get off
I
Facebook?
literally deleted Facebook.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm done with it.
Seriously?
Couldn't do it anymore.
Oh god.
And I've been happier since.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. If that's okay, I'm off that now. Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, sometimes social media can really bring you down. All right, so should we wrap? All
I
right.
think that's episode 100.
Yeah, we should probably thank everybody that's listened to us for this long, and thank those folks that helped us out, like James and Chad and Ryan and all those folks, and the North Colorado guys who have come on every now and then and
Yeah.
given us games to talk about and stuff.
Our Patreons.
Big time.
The people who have been ridiculously generous and
Oh my gosh, yeah.
sending us stuff.
The Vulcan book itself, just retail, that was $80.
Tristan sent me the Forge
The
World.
Hag.
The Hag.
Hag Queen.
Hag. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just been phenomenal. Like,
And thanks to everybody that's come up to us at the shows and said, I'm going to push your face in because you're an idiot, or,
Yeah.
thank you for doing the show kind of thing. That's always gratifying.
if we ever get back to going to shows again,
Yeah.
always come up and say hi.
Yep.
We're just two neckbeards babbling on with nonsense. We're not anything special. So
Pretty much. Nobody is. None of the podcasters are. Nobody is. We are in a
you
small
say
hobby.
that. I've talked about it before when I met Johnny Hastings at Adepticon.
Oh.
And I fangirled out like
Sure.
an idiot and lost it. And I felt like such a moron afterwards. I was like, well, never talking to that guy again because that was awkward.
Oh, wow.
So, anyways, yeah, it happened. I get it. It happens, whatever. But it's just so dumb over a podcaster.
I've never thought of anybody in the whole hobby world that was like more celebrity-ish, that, they weren't approachable. Even Duncan and Peachy and Nick Bate, all those guys from GW. Now, I mean, we have kind of a leg up because we're able to meet these guys more in person. It's fun, and they're just people. They work for a company that does cool stuff. The people that do podcasts, the Carl Tuttles, the
Paul Murphy's.
Yeah, you want to talk about somebody who's more fun to be around, and he doesn't judge you for how
Paul
popular
Murphy's
you
like a
are.
super cool guy.
He'll just sit down and have a beer with you and talk about 40K all day long because he's a cool dude. He's the dude that plays the same game as you.
Yeah, the guys from Facehammer.
Yeah.
Super legit.
Super
guys
cool
to just
guys.
sit and hang out with and
Yep.
hear.
Mitzi and Jimbo.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
I miss Missy and Jimbo.
I know. Bill, edit that out. Well, you got me with the painting handle, so I owed you that.
I wish you could leave that in.
I wish I could.
Swear, I wish you could leave that in.
Because you know what? 90% of the people would die laughing. The other 10% would be like,
Would not be happy with
No.
this. Bless.
so bad. So bad.
All right, well, I guess we should wrap this up and go outside to what I'm sure is the zombie apocalypse waiting for us.
Probably. Yep. All right. Once again, thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it 100 times.
Bye.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us at our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad. And our individual Twitters are, for me, at Bill Castello, BILLCASTELLO. And for Elric, it's at Elric Edge, ELRICEDGE. All of our guests on the show will have their contact information in that show's show notes. The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.